Hey, what's up guys, Jaeky here. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Fantech Helios 2 Pro S. This mouse was sent out by Fantech for review, but as always, that does not affect my opinion of it. This is actually really exciting. I've been using this mouse for the past week now, pretty much solely maining this mouse, and I'm going to be honest, this video is going to be pretty much me just glazing this mouse because it is absolutely fantastic. So if you're not familiar with Fantech, they make a lot of different mice actually, as well as computer parts. They're not really known for their mice, but they have a bunch of different ones, as you can see here on their website. But I would say that their Helios 2 Pro S is like their first flagship worthy mouse that's able to compete with top of the line competitors like the Logitech G Pro Superlight and the Viper V3 Pro. Just in terms of its shape, specs, weight, all of that is pretty much top tier. This mouse retails for around $95 USD, which is an extremely solid price. And you can choose between two different colorways. You can either go for the white or black. As you can see, obviously I have the black version here. The Helios 2 Pro S does support tri-mode connectivity, so you can use this with 2.4 gigahertz wired connection, or you can even use this Bluetooth, which is very nice to see. In the Helios 2 Pro S is also the Pixar 3395 sensor, which is a fantastic sensor. So let's first actually go over what you get in the box. This is what the box looks like right here. Opens up like this, and obviously you're greeted with the mouse in the box. In the box, you also get a user manual, and you get another box here with your cable, which I have on my desk. You also get this Fantech coin that you can keep as a collectible, and you get some extra wide skates as well as dot skates in the box as well, so that's really nice to see. You also get a little thank you card signed by the founder and CEO. You get some stickers as well, a warranty card, and finally, you have some grip tape. I believe the white version of the mouse comes with white grip tape, and then obviously the black version here has these black grip tapes. So let's go over the standout features of this mouse first and foremost. You have 8K polling rate, and that's only through wired, so you can use this mouse 8K polling if it's wired. If it's not wired, it only goes up to 4K polling. The Helios 2 Pro S weighs in at around 55 grams, which is super light. That's around the same weight as the Viper V3 Pro and 5 grams lighter than the Superlight 2. The Helios 2 Pro S is actually an improvement from their original Helios 2 Pro, and in the original Helios 2 Pro, people were complaining about the coating as well as the clicks. That is all changed on the Helios 2 Pro S, so this comes with an improved coating, as they mentioned on their website, but I will go into more depth on the coating later on in the video. The main switches here are the Huano Blue Shell Pink Dots, which are one of my favorite mechanical switches when it comes to mice. I absolutely love the feeling of Huano Blue Shell Pink Dots. If you've never used them, they're extremely light and crispy, very tactile as well. I'll give you guys a quick sound test of the switches here on the mouse. Now let's touch on the coating really quick. So the coating here is definitely not as good as my Viper V3 Pro or my G Pro Superlight 2, but it is still very grippy if your hands are sweaty. If your hands are completely bone dry, it is going to be pretty slippery. If your hands are completely dry, I would recommend using grip tape if you are someone whose hands don't get sweaty at all. My hands do get sweaty when I play, and when they do get sweaty, the grip here is perfectly fine, and I have had no issues using it at all. The stock feet here are very nice as well. They are more on the controlled side, but no scratchiness on any pad I've tried them on. I've tried them on my Artisan Zero as well as my SteelSeries QCK, and I've had no scratchiness with these stock skates. So the stock skates are really solid out of the box. Again, they are on the more controlled side, so if you're looking for a faster glide, you can swap these out for the included dot skates, which will provide you with a little bit more speed if you are looking for that. In terms of build quality, the Helios 2 Pro S is very solid. There is no flex when I squeeze on the sides, and when I shake the mouse, there's no rattle whatsoever. The design here is very solid as well with the shell. There's no holes in it except for on the bottom to reduce the weight, which is great. I hate holes on mice. That's like my one pet peeve on gaming mice, is if they have holes in them. But yeah, build quality here is extremely solid. Feels very nice in the hand. Weight balancing here is very good as well. I can pick it up from the center here, and it is balanced very evenly. And when I have it in my hand, the weight here feels very nice as well. It is a pretty dense feeling mouse, even though it is 55 grams. The fact that it's a smaller shape makes it feel a little bit more dense, but it's not really something I notice when I'm actually using the mouse. But if I am lifting it up and moving it around, I do notice that it is quite a dense mouse. Now let's talk about the most important aspect of the mouse, which is the shape. This is actually a Zowie S2 clone. So if we pull up Elo shapes here, you can see that the Zowie S2 and the Helios 2 Pro S are pretty much identical in terms of shape. And I have used the Zowie S2 before a really long time ago, so it's been a long time since I've used this shape. And it really just brought back a lot of memories when I first put my hand on this mouse. I absolutely love the Zowie S2 shape, and I've been waiting for a really long time for the S2 to have a wireless version. Even though there is a Zowie S2 DW wireless version now, I actually feel like the Helios 2 Pro S is a better version of the Zowie S2 wireless. The Helios 2 Pro S is lighter than the Zowie S2 DW. The S2 DW is 65 grams and the Helios 2 Pro S is 55 grams, so that's a 10-gram weight difference. People always rave about Zowie build quality, obviously, but like I mentioned earlier, the Helios 2 Pro S has fantastic build quality, so I don't think you're getting much of an advantage with the Zowie S2 DW, and the shapes are pretty much identical here. But yeah, compared to something like my Viper V3 Pro, you can see that the Helios 2 Pro S is shorter than the Viper V3. So we can actually plug this into ELO shapes here, and as you can see, the Helios 2 Pro is shorter than the Viper V3, and it fills out the hand a lot less. So one complaint I had about the Viper V3 is that it started feeling a little bit too big for my hand. For reference, my hands are 19 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and on the Helios 2 Pro S, I can comfortably fingertip and claw grip this. This is pretty much a claw slash fingertip grip mouse. You can make palm grip work if your hands are small enough. For me personally, palm grip is a little bit awkward because my hands are a little bit too big for a palm grip, but for claw grip and fingertip, the Helios 2 Pro S is a very nice shape. I would definitely consider this a medium-sized mouse, whereas the Viper V3 Pro I would consider a medium to large mouse. So yeah, I've really been enjoying using this shape. It's been a long time since I've used the Zowie S2 shape. It honestly just reminded me how much I like this shape. Fantech actually has a recommended grip style on their website depending on your hand size. So you can come into here and you can see here for palm grip, it kind of gives you like length 17 centimeters, width 7.5 to 10. So you can see if you're 15 to 18 centimeters, the recommended grip style is palm grip. And then if you're 18 to 20 centimeters, the recommended grip style is claw. Let's go over the software really quickly for the Helios 2 Pro S. It is very basic software. It's not web-based, so you will have to install it onto your computer. It's very similar actually to the Lamzu software. I'm pretty sure they're using like the same template because this is pretty much one-to-one with the Lamzu software. On the first tab here, you can remap all the buttons on the mouse, and you can also set your debounce time here. I always recommend going to the lowest debounce time, and then if you're experiencing double clicking, you can raise this until your mouse stops double clicking, but I've had it set to 0 milliseconds and I haven't had any double clicking issues so far. Moving on to the second tab here, this is where you can set your DPI. I play on 800 DPI. You can do different stages as well if you like switching between different DPIs, but I only use one DPI on 800. And then down here, you can change your polling rate. So like I mentioned earlier, on wireless, polling rate goes up to 4,000. And then if I plug this in, so if I actually take the mouse here and I plug it in, as you can see, I now have the option for 8,000 hertz polling rate. I have tried 8,000 hertz polling rate and it works as intended. But if you guys know, I always like to use my high polling rate mice on 2,000 hertz polling rate because anything above 2,000 hertz is honestly pointless. And if you want to watch a video explaining that, I'll leave Rocket Jump Ninja's video explaining polling rate in the description below, as well as Optimum Tech's video explaining polling rate in the description below and why you really don't need to use anything above 2,000 hertz. But yeah, report rate, I just leave that on 2,000 hertz. And then sensor setting, you can change the liftoff distance here. You can check peak performance. You have options for ripple control, angle snapping, and motion sync as well. I always recommend turning off ripple control and angle snapping, and then motion sync I like to leave on. You can also change the DPI light effects on the bottom here of the mouse. You never really see this and I don't really see a need for it, so I like to turn this off. On the third tab here, you can record macros. And then on the final tab here, you can see your firmware version. You can also pair the dongle with the mouse, and you can set the sleep timer as well. You also have options for long distance mode as well as the LED indicator, whether or not you want to set it to battery warning or battery state. And that's pretty much it for the software. Very simple, very straightforward, does pretty much everything that you need it to do. So let's quickly talk about the battery life because I did mention it earlier when I was talking about polling rate. So playing on 2,000 hertz polling rate, this mouse has lasted me around 4 to 5 days before needing to be charged. And that's around 7 to 8 hours per day. That's around 35 hours of constant use on 2,000 hertz polling, which isn't bad, but definitely not as good as something like the G Pro Superlight 2. That's one of the best in terms of battery life, but it is still very solid. One complaint that I do have is the cable here. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are someone who wants to use the 8,000 hertz polling rate, or you're just using this mouse while it's charging, I would have liked to see an angled cable. So yeah, as you can see here, this cable is completely flat and it's not really angled. I would have liked to see an angled cable, especially since the cable is such an important part of using this mouse, especially if you're using it 8000 hertz polling or you're just using it while you're charging. I would have liked to see an angled cable similar to something like what Pulsar does for their mice. An angled cable here would have been fantastic, but it is a very soft cable, so there's really no complaints there on the actual cable itself. Just the part where it connects to the mouse, I would have liked to see it angled. But yeah, that's a very minor complaint there, and it won't affect like 90% of people. Just a little small quality of life thing that would have been nice. So yeah, guys, that is the Helios 2 Pro S. This is going to be my main mouse for right now moving forward. I forgot how much I liked the Zowie S2 shape, and in this entire package, just with the lightweight and the top of the line performance and the solid build quality, the Helios 2 Pro S is honestly a very fantastic mouse that can compete with mice such as the Viper V3 Pro and the G Pro Superlight 2. So yeah, this is definitely a pretty slept on mouse right now. I don't see a lot of people talking about it, but this is definitely a contender for one of the top mice that I've used, and overall just extremely solid. Especially for only $95 USD, you are getting top of the line performance for an extremely affordable price. So definitely something to look into. If you guys are interested in checking this out, I will leave a link to it in the description below. But that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.